I'm Nick Getterman, farmer in eastern Kansas. I've been running the Fortifier on the Hagie STS-16 since 2019. But this is the first year we've put a cover crop on this particular piece. Here you can see some of the rye starting to establish a nice root mass. Yeah, I think in the last 5 years what we've noticed on our soil health plot, where we have replicated strips of cover crops and no cover crops, we can visibly measure 4 to 6 more inches of black dirt when we dig a soil pit. And then what we're also seeing, K-State's done some research on that soil health plot. We're also applying manure to this plot as well, but in the last 5 years, I think the manures had something to do with this too, but the no cover strips, our mycorrhizal fungi have come up from 2 to 8, but in our cover strips, our mycorrhizal fungi are at 13 versus 8 in the no cover strips. So mycorrhizal fungi is a good measure of soil health. We went from 2% to 13% of the microbial community. We're pretty excited about that. I would say the biggest benefit to the Hegy is being able, the capacity to do a lot of acres in a short amount of time. For instance, I went out at 4 o'clock yesterday and started, and I've ran 600 acres since 4 o'clock yesterday. It's noon here on Friday, and since 4 o'clock Thursday, I've ran 600 acres, which is a big deal. We've been really dry, and they just kind of started putting 2 inches of rain in the forecast for this weekend. Having the Hegy on the farm, I can make the call, okay, it's time's right to go to the field, whether if I'm using an airplane. And I really decided 48 hours ago that I needed to be running. The airplane, getting an airplane here with that kind of timeliness and flexibility is almost impossible for us. So being able to have this machine and go do a lot of acres in a short amount of time ahead of hopefully the forecast validates we get a 2-inch rain here and get the cover crop down before that time. I would say working with Montag has been a real positive experience. The communication between sales folks, technical support has been good. Fortunately for all of us involved, the systems work pretty trouble-free. I haven't had to ask for a lot of support. It's worked. It might be getting the machine going. There might be a few bugs to work through, but once we get the machine up and running, it's pretty well takes care of itself. That's been a good experience. This will be our 2nd year running the new Hegy. They come out with a model year change in 2021 and switched to the John Deere cab, and then the redesigned Fortifier to fit on the new frame and operate with the new cab. This will be our 2nd fall running it. I really like the new system. My favorite part about it is being able to crawl right down out of the cab and not have to crawl down out of the catwalk and around. Crawling out of the cab to get to the tender truck is a lot easier. If you're filling and you want to get up and see how full your tank's getting, you don't have to feel like you walk a half a mile to get there. So it's a lot easier to fill with the new design. The thing about the newer Hegy too that is good, just having all that catwalk gone. It's a lot cleaner machine. Like washing the machine up's easier. It's easier to work on. I would say the new tank, the new design is easier to switch from liquid to dry. Me and 2 guys switched it over in about a day from liquid to dry. That was probably not as possible with the old machine. There's some much easier transition period if that's what you were intending to do, is to switch it back and forth like we do. This particular Fortifier setup on the STS-16 Hegy is, we have a 120-foot boom. I've kind of was reluctant to adopt this technology because early machines like this were maybe just 90 feet. When Montag and Hegy was able to collaborate and make it possible to be on a 120-foot machine, it really worked for our operation because we have narrow row soybeans. And so our tram lines and our soybean fields where we spray insecticide and fungicide are 120-foot centers with our sprayers on 120 feet. So I want to drive those existing tracks. So I'm driving our 120-foot tram lines where we've done other spray applications earlier in the year. So I'm not knocking down any more soybeans by running this machine through the field, and that's been probably the best benefit of this setup we got. I would say I can, on 120 feet, I could put on about 60 to 70 pounds of product at 10 miles an hour, maybe up to 12 at 60 pounds. Today I'm putting on 30 pounds of product, 20 pounds of hairy vetch, and 10 pounds of an oats clover blend. So total of 30 pounds. I'm able to run as fast as I want to go, like 15, 16 miles an hour. I can really get across a lot of acres doing that. If the field's smooth and conditions are right, yeah, we can eat the acres up pretty quick. So we also on the farm do drill some cover crops. We have a 1890 50-foot no-till John Deere air drill and a 1910 commodity cart behind it. That would probably be, at certain times, a good way to do it. The trouble is it's slow, even though it's 50 feet. Last year in 2023, I cover cropped 8,000 acres, and probably looking at 7,000 or 8,000 acres again this year. Just the depreciation and wear on a drill versus this machine here, the cost of operating and ownership is just way different. And not to mention, my time at home with my family is more valuable too. So I can go run 8,000 acres with this Hegy, and 10% of the time that I could get across it with a drill. What I've been trying to do with broadcasting to have the performance I get with drilling the cover crop is try to time my applications in front of a big rain event. Like hopefully we'll get this weekend 2 inches is what they're calling for. So that's almost a home run. So this is a very fast, efficient, low-cost way to apply a lot of cover crop. And then also with this Hegy, we fungicide our corn at tasseling, use it for spraying. So the machine's already on the farm. We already have the need for a high clearance machine for that reason. So we just have the cost of the Montag system then to apply our cover crop. I would say in my no-till soil health experience, and that's the other thing reason we're broadcasting and interseeding our cover crops versus drilling, is just to minimize soil disturbance. Even a no-till drill has just a minimal amount of tillage that it does when you go out. For one instance, we've drilled rye into standing corn stalks after a corn harvest, and it detaches the corn stalks from the ground, from the soil, and you get a 50-mile-an-hour wind one day, and all your corn stalks end up in the fence row. Whereas if we broadcast, we don't disturb the corn stalks, and they stay intact on the soil. And there's potash and phosphate in our corn stalks. We want them to stay intact and put the nutrients back in the soil, not blow to the fence row. So we'd be having, phosphorus and potassium are expensive nutrients. We don't want them blowing off the field. We want them right there for the next crop. I think the longer I go through this period of no-till and soil health, and we on our farm have found, is whether it be trying to incorporate fertilizer or drilling our cover crop, the only thing we really want to be engaging the soil with is when we plant our corn and beans or wheat. We just don't want to engage the soil. Any time you engage the soil, you're disturbing the soil. It's a detriment to soil health. There's more compaction. If we can apply our nutrients on our cover crops without just touching the soil, we feel like we are way better off.